So crafting winning conference proposals is our topic at the moment. So the second one is about talking to your inner circle. You know, if you think of your colleagues, your very close buddies, your tribe, TRIBE, the people that are the closest to you. Think of the 5 or 10 people. You know, it might be your mom. It might be the guy that runs the shop that you go into every day to get your coffee. Or it's a colleague that you've known through for a long time. Colleagues, family members, friends, a inner circle. Talk to those people about your topic. They will give you good advice and feedback. Even if they're not experts in TESOL, they will give you good advice. Take it, use it, reject it, but get it. Be sure you get their input. Josephina's in the waiting room. Yay, welcome, Josephina. Do they seem interested in your topic? That's really important. Yeah, that's where you start. Start with something that really turns you on, as we say in the vernacular. Write down your ideas. Have a place, a notebook where you write down your ideas. This is my notebook where I have my ideas for the ANELTA session. Write down those ideas and keep writing them. Put a date by it. They'll change over time. Review the conference proposal guidelines, and we're going to be talking about that in depth. Follow those guidelines to the letter. Do not deviate. Don't think that you can, do something a little sexy or different. No. Follow the guidelines, and I'll be talking specifically about those in a minute. And finally, don't forget. Don't forget something. Your proposal is one of many that the organization gets. If your proposal is I can't see my screen. Okay, sorry about that. If your proposal gets rejected or accepted, that's just life. So don't worry about it. Why this thing keeps jumping around. All right. We submit, we wait, and then we worry. Oh, is it going to get accepted? It's maddening, and we have to control that. And that's a whole presentation, is how can we control our anxiety about acceptance and rejection? It's really important, but we're not talking about that only today, so I'm going to go on. But I do know that sometimes it's accepted, sometimes rejected. The wait time is very painful, and we have to control it. So you get the email, it says, oh, yes, you've been accepted, and you're very happy. And there are many reasons why it got accepted, and we're going to be talking about those. There are those that are more common. In the TESOL International Association, Ocon, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's around 20% of the proposals that are submitted are accepted. If your proposal is accepted by TESOL International, you can be sure that you have a tiger by the tail. This is a big deal, and you have to celebrate with champagne or whatever it is you like to celebrate. Rejections happen more often than acceptances do. If you get rejected, it happens for many reasons. It may not be anything that you can control, and we're going to be talking about that too. So rejections happen, and they happen for a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with the quality of your proposal. All good proposals are not always accepted. I wish I could tell you that weren't the case, but it is. There are many reasons. Conference presentations in English language teaching requires that you sort of plan your career. And that's my thing, is TESOL career path development, as many of you know. And there are many ways in which you can stay in the game. You can get started with presenting and then stay in the game as you proceed through your TESOL career path. And I've listed here 6 different conference types, and it's really about audience. Each of these has a wider and more diverse audience. So we'll talk about that, starting inside, where your department head asks you to make a presentation at a faculty meeting, where there's a school-wide interest in AI, and you get invited to do a presentation on AI in English language teaching. Or it could be a university research-based context. So they're inside your institution presentations where many of us have started. And I wanted to share a story with you. When I was a graduate student at the University of Illinois, I did my first Illinois TESOL presentation. It was for the state of Illinois, which is in the Midwest of the United States. My topic was motivation in second language acquisition, which was my dissertation topic. I prepared this presentation for months. I made my 5-year-old son listen to me give the presentation. He didn't do a very good job. I went to Chicago, a big city, in my car to give this presentation. I slept in a hotel. It was a big deal for me. I'm a very lower middle class background. So it was a big deal to go to Illinois TESOL to make a presentation. Some of my colleagues and professors were there too. I went to the room before my presentation and I sat down and I prepared my notes and I got all ready and I deep breathed. 15 minutes after the start of the presentation, there was one person in the room. There was one person in my audience. I was heartbroken, but then I found out that it was John Schumann, who is an expert in he's died now, but he was at UCLA. He had come to do the keynote at this conference, and he came to my presentation, and I gave it to him. I gave my presentation to one person, but it was John Schumann. There's more to that story, and I'll share another time. So it's not always a great big audience that you get when you go to give a presentation. Local, provincial, or statewide, national, regional, international, I don't have to explain those to you. I encourage ANELTA women and men to do a presentation at a lower level, say at the top of the list, inside or a local conference, before you try for Africa ELTA, before you try for international TESOL. It's just better to get your confidence up, and that will happen if you start at a smaller scale. Many of you have probably already done inside or local ones. All right, this is a slide you don't have to read. It's only there because I wanted to share with you the information that is provided by the TESOL International Association on proposal selection. The purpose of this slide is to really, the purpose of the slide is to give you what the reviewers get. The people who review proposals for international TESOL are given a lot of information, but this is kind of a summary of that information. And I am going to share this whole slide deck so you don't have to write anything down that's written here, because you can read it at your own and, highlight it or do whatever you want with it. We are getting lots of people coming in, and I'm so happy to see the audience grow. Thank you. So this is factors in proposal selection that are important to know. And you can sort of craft your proposal around these if you want to. Many people do want to see these guidelines of reviewers before they submit their proposal. All right, again, you don't have to write this down. It's a very long sample proposal. It's a very good one on research. And the TESOL International Association did not allow me to show you the proposal submission form, which is available usually as the date for the conference proposals for the next year approach. Unfortunately, they take it down. They don't keep it up all the time, so I can't show it to you. I could probably remember some of the categories, but you basically create your proposal online and write it online and put all the information in. This is a sample one that I have permission to share, and it's about research. Not every proposal is about research, but many are, and we'll be talking about the role of literature review and research, because in your needs assessment, somebody specifically asked the really good question about literature review. They didn't know how to use a literature review because when you write a proposal, it's different from if you're writing a dissertation. So we'll be talking about that in a minute. This is another abstract proposal that I submitted, and this might be Africa ELTA. No, I can't remember. 21st century language testing. Yeah, that's the one for Tanzania that I submitted. in whenever the proposals were due. But it was accepted, and I wanted to share it because it's Africa ELTA. And then this last sample proposal is called Communities of Practice and Career Path Development in Africa. This was a featured presentation that was provided for the Cairo Africa ELTA in 2024. And so it was a little different because they invited me. And I didn't submit it for proposal review because it was an invited presentation. But you can get an idea of how to write one. And notice the word counts. I put the word counts down because they're always big on word count. Almost all professional associations want you to submit with a fewer than X number of words. And you don't want to go over the word count because they stop reading, or even the system is set up to end at 10 words, whatever it is. TESOL International, and I think increasingly because of AI, because of legal issues, professional associations are asking for presenters to sign an agreement in which they state and sign that they are going to make the presentation and that they aren't using somebody else's work, and on and on. I invite you to consider the content of this one because it was readily available. There may be one for TESOL, for Africa ELTA, maybe even for ANELTA, but if you don't have one, you probably should be drafting up something that your board of directors can approve so that you get presenters to commit to both ethical standards and, to actually showing up for the conference. So the second part of our topic.
Any questions, please? Any questions so far? Oh, Ms. Melinda has her hand raised. Please, Melinda, go ahead.
I would like to know from Liz, when preparing a proposal, does this has to do with the person's qualification, or we must focus mainly on the audience and the type of conference that we are going to participate?
Gotcha. Yeah. So this is a question about the presenter's background, right? I mean, education, experience, level of proficiency of the learners you teach, whatever. And that's a really good question. The answer is, it depends. It depends on the focus of the conference. It depends on a broad Excel sheet in which all the presenters are identified and are grouped according to the conference theme, the conference, who else is there, how much money is available for certain parts of the world. Maybe there is an award-winning teacher. I mean, there's so many factors that go into it. So to get to your point, qualifications and experience of the teacher are almost never a rejecting factor. So a teacher who's a novice teacher in the second year of teaching, who works with fourth grade kids, 9-year-olds, is just as likely as a big shot university professor who has 4 books published. It depends on the conference organizers looking at the big picture. And they might need, what does that researcher know about 4th grade kids? Nothing, right? Or maybe knows a little. Is Ocon still here? He's left. He had to have dinner. He actually made.
No, I'm here. No.
Oh, you're here.
Liz.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I want you to chime in here, Ocon, because you know well about TESOL International and the direction we're going.
Yes, I do agree with you. So to answer Melinda's question again, your qualification will give you confidence, but it doesn't really factor into the review process. But it gives you confidence. You feel much better at what you are writing based on your experience and your qualification, and then the intended audience as well that you're going to address. And I think it's more of what the conference organizers are looking for than how you feel or your personality or your professional status in the professional community. Yeah. And again, I want to assure you that even at the TESOL level, so many big names have their proposals rejected.
Yeah.
Big names that you read about every day, their textbooks, their this and that, they have their proposals rejected. So don't feel bad about your proposal being rejected, because they might just have maybe 5 slots for in a particular strand. Then you have 20 good proposals that pass the grade, but you cannot accommodate all. That's where the selection process comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would add that at least in TESOL and TESOL affiliates with which I've worked, there's the organizing committee is very interested in meeting the needs of the members, right? So if we've got a membership of 80% K-12, right? K-12 is going to be, those are the people that are going to come to the conference. And online conferences operate the same. Who's the audience? How do we serve these people who are going to show up for this event and make their professional lives richer and stronger? So it isn't always about, there's, Ocon, help me here. It's not always about how high your credential is, as much as it is about how the program is designed. You've got to have minimal requirements, right? I mean, if you are a 14-year-old child and you send in a proposal that has nothing to do with anything on the conference, you're not going to get accepted. But if you've got the basic requirements of a teacher and you're speaking in a tone in the proposal that shows that you know what you're talking about, you're going to get accepted.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to move on now. Unless there's one more question, I'd be happy to. Thanks, Ermelinda. That was a really rich conversation. So we're back now to delivering impactful presentations. And this is about the same length as the other one, so we're kind of just enjoying it. There's no rush here. The second part of the topic is, once you've gotten the proposal accepted, how do you deliver the presentation in a way that is going to make you popular? And we have this saying, I don't know if you have it in the US, outside the US, but we always say that you can teach anybody anything if they like you. And so you try to help the audience to like you. And you do that in different ways, right? I mean, an African guy is going to do it different from this white girl who's in Virginia, right? You do it different. But here's some thoughts to consider that I've noticed over the course of my career. I decided to stop at 10. I could have done 25. But these are things that you see in presenters that I think you can copy. You can try one. Yeah, I know. I want to talk about number 3, because I was in Russia and I picked up an English medium newspaper, and there was an article in it saying that Americans are stupid because they smile all the time. So I invite you to consider number 3 in context. I think smiling's great, but Russians think that Americans smile too much and they look stupid because they smile all the time. What is it like in Africa? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? The audience is going to give you feedback, and you can be very sensitive to that. If they don't like what you're doing, you're going to maybe know it. Any in that list that you want to talk about before we move on?
I think I can just say you can smile enough to be friendly and likable, but not to look like a clown in the room. Because when you smile too much, it borders on overconfidence. You are assigning yourself too much confidence, and people might think that that's a bit condescending. So in Africa, we love smiling. We don't like stone-faced presenters. I mean, you're not going to attract anybody by frowning your face when you're talking to people. Yeah.
And I noticed in Tanzania, and I've noticed it elsewhere, that women, in my experience, are very aware of their job. They're trying to do the Zoom correctly. They're trying to do their presentation with if it's on Zoom. If it's face to face, they're They're very careful that the PowerPoint's working and that everybody in the audience can see them. They get nervous if it's too hot in the room. Yeah, women tend to be very aware of others, and they are sometimes frowning. They're not happy because they're worried about everything. I've learned over the years from my colleagues worldwide, especially from women, that it's all right to smile and, just, it'll work out. It'll work out. Hi.
I'm thinking of number 8. When we started, you talked of the African time. But I think that's one thing that maybe it's important to consider, respect time. Because people say, if you respect my time, then it shows you value me. Yeah. As much as possible, because tech can also be an issue sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I've noticed over time that really matters to a number of people. Because some, if you go over time, they'll walk out. And maybe they're not walking out because they're disrespectful. They're just walking out because maybe it's their culture or they're going for another presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, time. I did a session for somebody, Ethiopia maybe. There was another presentation in Africa on Zoom where we just couldn't stop because we were having this conversation. And that's also okay. It's not bad to have exciting, engaged people. But you're right, Judith, that people do have lives. And I think what I admire, and I've copied this from others, we'll be talking about how you can copy presenters, and that's a good thing to do, is to say, I know that we're finished. It's now 5 minutes past the hour, and you're welcome to leave. And please don't feel bad. But we're going to go on for another 10 minutes or whatever it is to enjoy this conversation. And that way people have like a permission slip to walk out and leave if they want to. That's one thought.
It wasn't Ethiopia, Liz. It was ANELTA. This ANELTA.
Oh my gosh. Thanks.
It was ANELTA. It wasn't Ethiopia. So
I was trying to blame it on another country. Well, I'm very grateful for the enthusiasm. What the heck? We keep getting people coming into this session. I'm so happy. How about number 9? This is cultural. I get in trouble with some of my more religious friends. Use a mirror or recorder to practice your presentation. I really have had, with graduate students I've taught over the years, I've had them make recordings of a presentation that they wanted to give as an assignment. And they say, oh, I don't want anybody to see me. And so my answer to that is, if you give a presentation, somebody's going to see you. And if you don't want to see you, why will anybody else want to see you? So it's a interesting one, this mirror and recorder bit. You have to think about how you feel about it and what you want to do with regard to your own position on using a mirror or a recorder to practice before you present. I used to say a lot more than I do now, and partly it's because of the video that I've taken of myself. So I found this really cool website. I don't know if you know about ageafrica.org, but I found it. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I've got the Africa ELTA website there on mentoring. There's all kinds of resources for women and girls in Africa that I would want you to know about if you don't already. This Age Africa thing is very interesting. I put it on LinkedIn, and I would welcome any feedback that you have on email after this session. And if you look at the site and have opinions about it, I'd love to hear what it is. I feel a little bad that I'm not talking about women and girls very much because I just don't know a lot about that. Our program in TESOL is not limited to women and girls. So we have mentors of all stripes, and we'll be talking about TESOL CPD PLN in a minute. So this is TESOL Career Path Development Professional Learning Network. We, Judith Agueno in Nairobi is on our team. This is our website, and I welcome you, if you aren't already a member, to join us, along with 6,000 other teachers worldwide, about a quarter of which are TESOL members, and the others are prospective or non-members of TESOL at this time due to a variety of constraints. But we have a project that is called CLIMB that, Judith, are you still here? It's a webinar. We don't want webinar. We want the.
Yes, I am.
I was going to talk quickly about CLIMB. Do you want to say anything about the CLIMB program?
That's good. Just a little bit, that it's one of the programs that has enabled me to present. I'm still growing, and I'm proud to say Liz was my mentor and is still my mentor in the CLIMB program. And I would urge as many as possible to join, because through it, the CLIMB program that I went through and that we have is the type where it's the mentee centered. You come up with your goals and then you share with your mentor and you work through them. And I remember one of my first ones was I wanted to do an article to present, and my mentor Liz helped me, and we actually succeeded, and I was able to present at the TESOL conference. So I know that the mentorship program works in many ways and for different people to achieve many things, and I'm very happy about it. So Liz, you can go on and share more.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Judith. And from the mentor side, my side as a mentor, I learned so much from Judith. The concept that Mick King, who's in Qatar, and I, and Amira Salama in Egypt, kind of created this program about 4 years ago. And we've had, I think, 60 or so pairs of mentors, mentees go through the program. And we have the idea that the mentors get something and the mentees get something. So it's not just, feeding the poor baby mentee who doesn't know anything. No, it doesn't work that way at all. Mentees drive the program. That was Mick King's big point, was that we would have the mentees who lead basically the goal setting. And a lot of times what I've learned as a mentor 5 or 6 times, the mentee doesn't know what their goal is. So the mentor helps the mentee to come up with a goal and tells about his or her life, or some things they're really passionate about and things they don't like to do, and so the mentee finally creates her or his own goal, and then the mentor helps like a shepherd, right? More like a shepherd than a mama. if that helps you. And we really are a goal-focused and mentee-driven program. It's different from the TESOL mentoring program, a totally different story from that one. And I think that's part of why we've known such success, and we're actually at a shortage of mentors because so many people are eager to do this. I love this program so much, and I encourage all of you all to join us anytime and fill out that application form that is easy to do online. So that's the TESOL Career Path Development Professional Learning Network, a community within the TESOL organization. I want to talk for a minute, very short, on peer feedback in English language teacher education. I think Africa is particularly well suited for a better and more structured peer feedback approach to professional development. You have in Africa invisible, incredible scholars, teachers, professionally oriented women and men. Excuse me. So peer feedback has been shown in research. There's tons of research on the power of peer feedback in English language teaching effectiveness. I would argue that we need to do more of it, and I think we're seeing that already with TESOL, with you all at ANELTA, as well as in Africa ELTA's EVE program and other mentoring that is going on there. I see the leaders. When I went to Tanzania, I saw leaders in Africa ELTA working, very informally. I could tell that there was a mentor relationship between some of these senior people. The president, the new president from South Africa of Africa ELTA, she's a mentor. Like in her bones, she's a mentor. She's a brilliant woman and a great storyteller. You have to meet her if you haven't. My final slide is a quotation from one of my favorite humans. Michelle Obama said, "There's no limit to what we as women can accomplish," and I wanted to close with that. I have an email address at the bottom. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not a Facebook person anymore. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. I'm going to move this. I don't know. I guess you can't see the LinkedIn, but you can find me on Liz England at LinkedIn. And I'd be happy to share this slide deck anytime. Thank you all. I hope you learned something. We have a little bit of time left for a Q&A if you're interested. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much, Professor Lee. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And Melinda, you had your hand raised. I believe you have a question.
Yeah, it's a simple question on mentorship. I'd like to know from Dr. Liz, do you have any specific requirement to be a mentor of somebody, or what are the steps that one could take in case that person chooses you as his or her mentor?
Yeah. Are you asking about mentors or mentees?
Mentors.
Yeah, mentors. Okay, so if you go to our website, I've got am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Thanks. So you can see that this is the climb, and then there's application form. And Wei Yu Zhang in Singapore used to run it, and she did a great job. So which role are you primarily interested in? And you check one or the other. And then you give your work affiliation, whatever it is you do, your job title, your country, where you work and live, whether you're a pre-service, a novice, a mid-career veteran, or semi-retired teacher, how many years you've been doing it, what are the students you've worked with or work with now, and what describes the context in which you work. And are you interested in one of these or something else? And you can write other, but you have to tell us what the other is. And then in 150 words max, you don't have to write that many, you just say why you're interested. So you choose if you're going to be a mentor or a mentee. And if you say mentor, then in that 150 words, you say why you think you'd be a good mentor. That's it. It's not very hard. And in fact, we've learned the quicker you do this application, the better you do. To think about it and change it and revise it, no, you don't need to do that. Spend 15 minutes on this thing and you're done.
Answer session. Please feel free to raise your hand or drop a comment or a question in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer here with Professor Lees. There's just someone who asked about. I mean, it's a bit out of topic. I wasn't sure if I could read it, but he asked.
Time.
Yeah, Malika asked about how to. I think he asked how to apply for a TESOL course. I don't know if we can have the answer here. You can help him or her with this.
Luckily, we have Ocon here to advertise all of the TESOL money-bearing programs. Ours, just real quick, the CPD, the CLIMB program is free. There's no fee. And so we welcome anybody to be a mentor or mentee. Ocon, can you speak on behalf of TESOL with regard to programs, how to get one?
It depends on the question itself, because we look at TESOL as an association, or TESOL as a profession. So when you say TESOL course, is it like a certificate in TESOL to teach English as a foreign language in a different context? Or is it you mean courses run by TESOL International Association that you could avail yourself of? So that's the question I'd like to ask, or maybe for clarity. If you log on to TESOL website, there's so many things out there that you can pick and choose. And they cost money. So, and I know it translates into a lot of money. Even $10 in the US could mean a lot of money in Africa. So they do cost money. But it's also good if you have the financial ability to be able to embark on these courses. It's also part of your professional development because we do have to invest in ourselves and not wait for handouts all the time. And just to add to what Lisa said throughout the entire webinar, it's also important that we as teachers or upcoming professionals or aspiring presenters, it's good for us to attend sessions because your confidence can just grow from attending a session.
Yeah.
I remember my first time I submitted a proposal to TESOL International Association. I was a student in the UK then. So I went to a session and I saw this lady talking about something and I thought, I can do this. You know, you feel TESOL International is so big, you know, you don't feel nobody's going to accept your proposal. I just listened to her and I said, I can do what this woman is just doing. And the very next year, I submitted a proposal and it was accepted. And I was given a room that could sit 300 people, but I had only 18 people in my room, which was better than what Liz had on her first presentation. So, so I encourage you to attend sessions also to feel confident that what that person is doing, you too can do it. I think that's the only way to build that confidence and be able to grow from regional to international, and then you become, you do what Liz is doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful, Okon. Thanks. And there are scholarships, right? TESOL gives, I mean, you can apply for a grant for one of these training programs, right?
Yeah, even for conference attendance, the international participation, there are so many grants that can help with accommodation or flight and things. So the important thing is to submit a proposal. Once it's accepted, then you apply for a grant that could help you. And it may not cover the entire cost of the trip to America, but it helps. It helps. Yeah. And we do need more representation from Africa in TESOL. Yeah.
I'm so tired of getting research about Africa from people who flew in for a week and then they fly out. The Africans know how to do research and should and do some really good work in this area. I'm looking at the list of questions from the needs assessment. There were really good questions. I felt like I answered all of them, but if I didn't, let me know. One thing that, how to be an excellent woman. Mm-hmm. You already know.
Really?
I think what I would say there is, somebody's trying to get in here. What I would say about being an excellent woman in TESOL, it's so easy. I mean, we have great men in our TESOL profession, and Okon's here and others, Alfonso's here. We have so many good, it's such a fun organization. And to be a woman in an organization where you don't have to apologize all the time, you don't have to tell people that, you know, you had to go off for 5 years because you had a family and then you came back. You know, everybody is so incredibly, I don't know, smart and accepting, and they don't care about that stuff. If you're in law or medicine or engineering, you know, some of these accounting, TESOL's great, and you can be a great woman in so many ways. The incoming president of Africa ELTA is from South Africa. That woman is so much fun, and she tells stories better than anyone I know. I mean, she does a keynote or a big shot presentation, and she's, you know, crouching down like a tiger, and she's telling this African tale, and everyone is eating out of her hand in the audience. She's a genius, this woman. So there are different ways of being a really cool woman, and in TESOL, there's room for different kinds of women, and I'm so grateful for that.
She is the president, not incoming. She is the president.
Asking what?
What are the aims of crafting conference proposals?
No, let me come in there, Sarah. I think the person is asking in a nutshell, why should I submit a proposal?
Why should I? Yeah.
Yeah, why should I submit a proposal?
Yeah. One of my slides said, what and why is something you've got to start your presentation. So you better know why you're there. And I think it's a great question, because if you don't know, then you don't want to bother. The reason that we do presentations at conferences, why, is a great question. And the answer is this: because you want to. And the reason you want to is that you've got an idea and you've had some experience that you are kind of working on it. There's so many. A teacher who had the kids she was having trouble with high school kids using their phones in the class. So she started doing this research and counting how many times, what she did to change their behavior, how this worked out. She got so excited about using cell phones in the high school classroom, not English, it was history and other classes. And she got so much data, and she got so excited about this topic. And so she got invited. She's a high school teacher. You know, she didn't ever have a history of research, or I'm not even sure she has a master's degree. But she got so excited about this topic that she was waking up in the middle of the night and writing things down about this topic. And she presented at a Virginia TESOL, and everybody in the room just couldn't believe their eyes. She was so much fun, and she was so smart. So the reason you do it is because you get passionate about something. And you get passionate about something, and then you get to go on a trip, or you get to, go across town to a ministry office and talk about your idea. Your energy is going to be transparent. And that's, I think, my number one reason for doing TESOL presentations. And of course, you might get a raise, you might get, I don't know that's all local stuff. That the context where you are is going to determine those things. But I can tell you that it just makes your life more rich when you're talking to people besides your own students all the time and your own colleagues all the time.
Great.
And just to add to that, Liz, I think it's also an opportunity to get to know the world, because that might be the only opportunity you have to visit America, to give a presentation. Maybe once in a lifetime opportunity to visit a country. So it opens up your perspectives as well, in addition to just sharing your research findings or what you're doing in your classroom. Also self-confidence, professional growth, everything. So there are so many reasons, so many aims for crafting a good proposal.
Well, in Angola, we needed more Angola in the Africa ELTA, maybe next year in Nairobi.
Yeah, we should be there. I think this time
when the United Nations moves to Nairobi. Angola has taken bumps, and, with this TESOL thing, they got all ready to go to Long Beach and couldn't go. And you guys are just really pat on the back from Virginia to all of you for so much that you do to make professionalism real in Angola. I thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Really, it has been a pleasure working with you. So it's actually, I believe it's your first time to work with ANELTA Women on this area, particularly in designing a webinar for ANELTA Women. So how was the experience?
Good. I had a great time. You were wonderful. Sarah was wonderful. We got Alphonse involved. The incoming president of TESOL showed up. We've got 17 people, half of whom came 20 minutes ago. I don't care. It's what it should be. And I feel like we've done something useful. I hope you'll use my slide deck for useful purposes. Be in touch with me on email. I'd be happy to follow up with anyone. Apply for our CLIMB program with the TESOL CPD group. Talk to Judith in Nairobi. She's still here. Jose is coming. We still got people in the waiting room.
Positive comments here in the chat. Gisela asks, do you agree that we, in Angola, still have a few numbers of women with ELT courses and are totally skilled and confident enough to create and be a speaker in any big event? If so, what advice can you give in order to overcome this situation?
Yeah, well, I think I tried to do it at the beginning. I share your concern, Sarah, and it's a very important one. I was doing a little bit of research on this issue of girls and women in Africa, gender inequality, discrimination, violence against women, limited access to resources, unpaid care work, taking care of your mother, taking care of your kids, your sister. Poverty is a big issue. But progress has been made in Africa, and I think TESOL and ANELTA and you guys are part of the progress right here, right? Zoom, whatever, 19 people, no, 20 people. Yeah, it keeps changing. 20 people in the room. This is part of the revolution. I mean,
25.
5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen this. You wouldn't have had 20 people in the room, 30, whatever it is, 25 people in the room. This is part of, step by step. And you probably, because you're in it, it's like the fish in the water doesn't know that it's water. You are part of this progress that we're seeing in Africa. The foundation, Okon and Ayman and Amira and Hari Kucha, this community of professionals who are coming out of doctoral programs and saying, what in the hell are we doing in Africa? We got to fix some stuff. And boom, they do it. I mean, they don't fix everything. God knows women, are still suffering with all these issues, but progress, political participation of women, right? You've got countries where the women are the president. I don't know if you like them or not, but they're there. Education for women, legal frameworks for women, economic empowerment for women, social and cultural shifts. This is a social and cultural shift in the English language teaching profession in Africa. And I invite you to, kind of look in the mirror, talk to each other without me, whatever. Be aware of the progress that's been made, because that will give you more energy to move forward, to see that it isn't only the problems. We focus all the time on the problems. We don't celebrate our successes enough. And God knows Africans like to celebrate. And I don't know why we don't get more celebrating. Yeah. And I invite ANELTA, at your next meeting to bring a cake. Do something that makes you feel like you are a fabulous team, because you are a fabulous team. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. We are bringing more cakes. We are bringing cakes in our next conference, right, Ms. Melinda? We'll be celebrating.
Yeah, yes, of course. We'll be bringing a cake.
Notice how Sarah did that. She said, we're bringing a cake, aren't we, Linda?
Yes, we are going to bring a cake, please.
His or her question is how to feel comfortable and confident when you are dealing with people who are an expert in the audience. Like if we have experts in the audience, how to feel comfortable and confident.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, I want you to answer that, and then I'm going to back you up, because you do it. You are doing it. How do you do it?
I don't know. I think I just do it. I learned by doing things. As I said in the beginning, I'm a little bit of an adventurous woman, so I just do it, and then while doing it, you feel more comfortable. The more you do it, the more comfortable you feel, the more comfortable and confident. But planning is also another, it's a key element in this. Like I always try to plan properly beforehand. We had a little bit of an issue in the beginning. I was like, oh my goodness, I shared the wrong link, but planning, and yeah, just make sure you plan and you know what you're doing. Master your content or your presentation, and then you just let things happen. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Alfonso bailed you out a little bit, and because you and he are such a good team. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have done it alone. You couldn't do it alone. Boom, it's done. So that's a great example. I would add that I am really grateful whoever asked the question. It comes up all the time. we're sitting here with the incoming president of TESOL International Association. I met Okon before he was president of TESOL elect, and his story is another one that needs to be told. I know I've heard the story, but you could write it even or do an audio podcast of your story. Okon, extraordinary guy. And they're all over the place, right? I mean, we know him, but there's others, tens, hundreds and thousands of others who have stories. I think sometimes we feel like we're alone, right? And we're the only one who doesn't know everything. And we're the only one, we're at the bottom of the pile. But then when you come to an event like this and you go, oh, yeah, I know how to fix Zoom, or, oh, yeah, I could do the visuals for this PowerPoint that Dr. England did and do them better. These are things that happen to us when we watch other people and when we learn from other people. And I invite you to sort of, again, it's like the cake, think about what you do that's good. What does your sister always tell you? Oh, you always do this right. Or what does your colleagues say about your class? They say, oh, your classroom's always so happy. Or I don't know, whatever it is, celebrate these achievements that are not small. Yeah. And don't be so willing to hide. I think it's an excuse sometimes. We hide because we don't want to do anything. I don't know. Thanks, Sarah, for giving your story.
Thanks.
Can I just add to that, Liz, about how do you feel confident when you are talking to an expert audience? I want to assure you that even within that, among the people in your audience that you consider expert, they may not know everything. You may have something new that they don't know. You'll be teaching them that. And again, in our profession, Liz has mentioned again how accommodating we are. Even where you go off course or you're not really saying the real thing, they're not going to call you and say, oh, that's absolute rubbish. You're talking nonsense. No, we are teachers. We know how to provide feedback. There'll be a way to provide that feedback that will make you feel okay and not make you feel inadequate or stupid. Yeah. So, yeah.
On a little bit, he's now talking about teachers, like how, as a teacher, can I grow more professionally? I think that's that's a little bit out of topic. I don't know if maybe.
It's my topic. I don't know. I mean, being here, just a baby step. Being in this session has you growing as a professional. Even if you didn't say anything, even if you didn't participate in this conversation with the, 5 or 6 of us who are doing all the talking, you are learning, you are, and it's washing over you in some way that you might not even know yet. You might find out tomorrow. Or, something will happen to you in your life that will make you feel like you can go to the next level. I'm going to do that proposal. Okay, I'm going to send Liz a draft copy. It's really bad, and I'm going to ask her to look at it for me. Or Okon is going to come to Luanda and meet with the ministry. Things happen in our lives that we don't expect. And we need to be open to those coming to us and changing us. Just like this webinar today, touch somebody I don't even know. I don't know what, somebody will say, oh my God, I'm never going to do what she did. Fine. That's something that happened. I doubt it happened, but it might. And it's okay. We all have things that happen to us that we aren't predicting, or planning for. And it can be really cool to live your life.
Sure. Okay, I'll just take 2 more questions and then we'll wrap up. What do you think? Yeah. Sure. We have a question from Valdemar. He asks, as an intermediate English speaker aiming to access international academic and professional opportunities, what practical strategies would you recommend to build strong communication skills, global networks, and stand out in competitive environments? I think it's a little bit broad. Oh boy.
I'm not going to push that one back on you, Sarah, though I could. Emerlinda, you want to say anything to that question?
I think starting with where you are right now, just being part of this webinar, you're already building something, like building your confidence would also be one of the strategies that you can use. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd add going online, finding a scholarship to a university, you want to get a PhD.
For scholarship, yeah, sure.
I mean, this person sounds very motivated and,
Yeah.
you know, it's a good question and it's a big question and a PhD is what you need to do. It's what some people do.
And he says, I mean, as an intermediate English speaker, I think the first step here, from what I can see, is to level up your English level. I mean, I don't know, upgrade it, go to advanced level, and yeah, to access international and he said international and academic professional opportunities. Yeah, you need your.
And unless he
always say people will always ask, especially in Angola. I mean, how do I? I've taken a course, but my English is not so fluent. I just say practice. Practice makes perfect. So you just need to practice. I think that's it. We have another question. I think it's the last one now. For Elise and Ocon, do you think that workshops are either presentations? Do you think that workshops or either presentations should be more interactive, or the key point is to command the audience and deliver the content you prepared? Yeah, that's a good question.
I'd say this, the audience expects you to be the boss. And you should be the boss because you're not there because you're a nice person who is willing to do this for free. You're there because you have skills and knowledge and experience to share with the community. That said, it implies, his question or her question implies that there's, over talking, like the presenter does all the talking. I don't go to those presentations anymore. I used to because I felt like I had to, Noam Chomsky can talk to you till you're blue in the face. The man's a genius. Okay. But I don't want to go to a presentation where I just sit there like a lump. I like interaction. I like hearing other people talk. And the best presenters, in my opinion, are those who give the audience a chance to ask questions and to get answers and to, share their stories. I mean, that's where the learning happens. Thanks. Okon, you want to add some?
I was just gonna say that it depends on the duration of the session. I mean, for workshops, which is maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour, 90 minutes, it's good to engage the participants. And most workshops are actually like classroom practices. So you are trying to demonstrate so that when they go back to their classrooms, they can replicate what they came to listen to. So that's great for workshop to be interactive. And then for presentations, if it's like I have only 15 minutes, that may not give me much time to really talk. And I don't like talking, personally, I don't like talking to people. I like talking with people. So like Liz said, yeah, I like to engage the audience. If you give me 30 minutes, I'll do 20 and then leave 10 for interaction. And then always happy to be stopped at any point so that someone can say, excuse me, I disagree with what you've just said. Can you come again? So like that. So I prefer interactive sessions to just a monologue because monologue, people will just sit down and be pressing their phones and then they doze off and then at the end of the session, nobody even listened to you. Yeah.
This has been a great session. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Emily.
It has. Thank you so much, Professor Liz England, Dr. Okon, and everyone. Professor Liz, that it was an incredible and insightful and empowering sessions that we had today. Your guidance on crafting winning proposals and delivering impactful presentations. I believe it has truly equipped us with invaluable tools, and we are immensely grateful for your time and expertise. And we hope to have you for another session. We will, of course. I mean, with us here at the ANELTA Women Special Interest Group, we are still starting, and we are trying really to motivate.
I want to hear from every single person about something they are doing. I'm not going to do another session with you until I hear from others, that you're trying out something or you don't like, it can be anything, but I want to see there's some impact from this work that we're doing together.
We will. I mean, to our participants, thank you so much for joining us today. And for some of your comments and questions, I hope we could cover them all. And if you still have questions, because of time constraints, I don't know if we can if we still have time with Professor Lise, but we are happy to answer them after the webinar. I'll be happy to do that. And I already told them that before the conference, which will be on the 23rd of August, we'll be having some training sessions for presenters. So feel free to reach me out. And just a reminder that our conference presentation proposals, which we had with the deadline for the 2nd of August, but we extended it for the 10th of August.
I'm happy to look at anybody's draft proposal. You can send it on email.
I'll do so. We can wrap it up. I think we can give it a wrap. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Once again, Professor Lise, many thanks. Dr. Ocon, thank you.